It's evolved an incredible amount. The most recent IAB ad spend figures came out today, and I think we can see the compound growth over the last few years. They've just started breaking out rich media, but the compound growth over the last few years has been just incredible. I think the things that have contributed to its growth have firstly been, in the early days, large media owners, mostly ad networks, mobile ad networks, and some DSPs, really pushing creative as the differentiator for mobile. So that's where people said, how can I attract spend to mobile? We need a great, rich, interactive creative, and that's what was pushing the market on. And those mobile networks and DSPs got a good amount of scale, which then in turn began to educate the market, the agencies, to say, this is what my expectation should be for mobile, which was a good thing. And then what's happened in more recent years, the last year and a half or so, agencies have started to take the lead to drive the mobile agenda and to ask for rich, interactive, engaging formats. And that's really taken things onto a whole new level when they're pushing out rich formats across the entire media plan. So I think they're really the things that have driven it. Also, I think it's been the availability of tools in the market. So not just having media suppliers involved, not just having media buying agencies involved, but also having creative and production agencies involved. So everyone who's in the value chain for mobile rich media campaigns, rich display campaigns, can participate to have great creative across fantastic media with appropriate measurement. I think fundamentally it just takes time for brands and for marketing directors to shift spend for a whole series of different reasons. Hard to make a 50% change from last year across your whole budget because it's a risky thing to do. So I think there's a natural time element for these changes to happen, and we just have to kind of wait for part of that. Another aspect, I think, is probably around education. So everyone being aware of what the possibilities are with rich media and knowing that they can achieve their brand goals and thinking kind of slightly mobile first to take a mobile tilt or a mobile slant on their campaign goals. And then lastly, but probably by no means least, measurement comes into this. Brands are really interested to understand how they can attribute sales of their products back to different forms of advertising. Until now, it's been harder to attribute sales back to mobile. That's an ongoing effort from an industry point of view to fix attribution for mobile. But what we do know is brands need to push ahead regardless, because mobile is influencing about 3/4 of all purchases have mobile somewhere in that purchase funnel. So even if we can't totally attribute it, because the last click kind of isn't enough, mobile gets used throughout the purchase funnel, it's important for us to push forward with mobile. At the center of this discussion is really what are the most appropriate formats for mobile. One of the things we talked about today was the fact that the 320x50 banner, which is the common currency of mobile display advertising, is really a shrunken down desktop leaderboard banner. So we haven't really had ad formats that are made for mobile or designed with mobile in mind. What the future of mobile ad formats holds are formats that are designed to be introduced, and that's the key word, to be introduced to the consumer in an appropriate manner for their mobile experience. So thinking about the format we announced today, the Interscroller that we've partnered with the Telegraph to launch, the Interscroller allows a consumer to simply scroll through their mobile website page of content, and it's nicely introduced and snaps into place at a particular moment. The user can then choose to interact with the content or simply continue to scroll beyond it. So it feels very natural, it feels very appropriate. And when a publisher such as the Telegraph, who is quite conservative, there's a lot of editorial sign-off required to bring new advertising formats into their editorial content, when a publisher such as the Telegraph says this works well for us, I think that bodes well for the future. And you're going to see from Celtra, and I would imagine for the broader industry, more and more of these new formats being launched that are more appropriate for mobile. But also, one of the key things we think that the future holds alongside these formats is this notion of cross-screen. The world's been very much caught up just thinking about mobile this, mobile that. And the reality is, as consumers, we use an array of devices together at different times of the day or even at the same time of day. And what we need to do from an advertising perspective is take that into account and have cross-device, cross-screen type campaigns that complement one another and allow the user to have a similar user experience on those screens. You're right, the video is hot. In our business, we're very fortunate that we power display advertising for a very large part of the market. And as it's rich and interactive, a very large percentage of all of the ads that are built and run on our platform include video. And the reason that that works so well is that video is the kind of richest, most engaging form of content that a brand can display or show to a consumer to tell their brand story. And we think video is going to continue to grow. And all we say alongside video is that where you have video plus an opportunity for the consumer to interact, that's the perfect storm. So we're not surprised to see this growth in video. We expect to see it continue. I think it's right for it to continue to help brands to get the most value from this great video content and to tell their brand stories.